right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DC Worlds Collide video. This is Mr. Squirrel. As always, glad to have you here. Let's chat about the event. Now, as I stated yesterday in the video, I gave you my input on just the event itself, how it operates, the way you can unlock Blue Beetle. Let's talk about Blue Beetle and this event. I don't like this event. I don't think this is a good event. I'm just going to come out and say it. I really am frustrated with the way they handled this event. I was really excited for Blue Beetle. Now, I know people are, well, they're giving it away for free. I'm going to start this video by saying it's not the Blue Beetle event that I'm actually upset with. It's a larger issue, and it's getting further and further and more, well, not further, but more exacerbated as they kind of keep operating under the system, and that is communication. Communication. They're operating in a way that is just kind of like pop quizzes left and right. It's like, oh, do you have enough pop quiz? Right? As a teacher, I don't do pop quizzes as a teacher, right? Because pop quizzes can instill stress. And can they work? Sure. But they've been proven over and over again that they don't really do a lot. Pop quizzes aren't good. Same way with these kind of events. It's trying to instill FOMO in you as fast as possible, right? Because I want to highlight. So I did a video, like in my previous video, I did a quick summon to kind of show how the thing worked, the banner worked. But if we go here, now what really kind of, these deals are really bad. They're really bad. And they're preying on you because you're probably spent, because we just did Mr. Terrific. We just did Guy. We just had, Raven out. We just had Wonder Woman if you didn't pick her up. We just had, and people are doing their weekly so that way they can get their, desired character. And then on a Friday afternoon, you kind of just, or morning, I don't like, for different people, this kind of for me just popped out of nowhere. Like, I was literally at work and I like turned on the game for a hot minute at lunch. I was like, wait, what? This happened now, not at like reset. And for me, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe they have like good deals to help people. Maybe they'll like $5 deal for, encrypted tokens. And it's not. This is like $10 for 10 tokens. That's $1 token. When Superman came out, they were doing 10 for 10 for super encrypted. And these are nowhere near as valuable as this should have been $5. If this was $5, I'd say, you know what? You're good. These deals are horrible. You're not getting like barely any encrypted tokens. You're getting random equipment epic block set. Epic, not Epic 1, not Epic 2, not Epic 3. Epic, right? So it's preying on people like, oh, I get equipment. That equipment's garbage. Like, it's not good equipment. Sorry. And then they're giving like minuscule amounts of gold on top of it. So none of this. You should not be buying any of these things. These are terrible deals. Please don't buy these. These are horrible deals. They're just preying on FOMO. It's a growth fund. So the next thing then I want to talk about is then if we go here, so character fusion, it's limited. It's a limited time, which is fine. I'm actually not going to argue with that. I'm actually okay with that. What I'm not okay with is the lack of communication about it. You can do limited time events as long as you're communicating it to the players and they have time to prepare in some way, shape, or form. Right now, what's happening is it kind of, that Moon Knight meme where it's like random. I'm not going to say it because there are younger people that watch this video, but it's just like random stuff go, right? And that's kind of what it feels like right now. Devs, you really need a timeline, something. You need to have a timeline. Like, this is now, you are now exacerbating a larger issue. And why I'm a little frustrated by this is because the last week and a half was very dead. And then you're dropping the crypto event, which is also not super free to play friendly. If you're lucky, it can be. If you get lucky, which if you've watched my previous videos, I was not lucky. And now and then you also drop Krona's Power Gauntlet. And we're talking about this within 3 days of each other. 3 days of each other, all of this is happening. So we get Krona's, crypto, Oh, and then the last week we had like the Raven banner, which I don't think a lot of people should have summoned on, but whatever. Right? Kronas, Crypto, and then now we get the Fusion. Where were these things like a week and a half ago when the game was kind of dead? The spacing of content is not good. It is not good. And this is actually going to instill frustration over like, ooh, because people came into this. And now this is where I'm also really frustrated with this event. Why is it that Lex Luthor, who is another legendary, requires 40? And Blue Beetle is 60. And this is a limited time one. I actually think they should go in and change this and then just refund the people who have spent on it the shards. As simple as that. This is not okay. You cannot do this. Why is it I'm looking at this limited time and then this one and it's like, what? I need to pull, in order to unlock both Blue Beetles, I need to pull each a dupe of each one 3 times. 3 times 4. I need to pull 12 characters as opposed to 8 in the span of 8 days. Now, I know people are going to think, well, you know, you're just complaining for the, like, they released the banner to help. Yeah, you're not, you can't pick on that banner. I got very lucky and pulled 3 characters. If you watched the previous video from last night, I got very lucky and pulled 3 characters. 2 characters, but all 3 of them, I pulled 2 Bloodsports and then 1 Vixen. I never had Bloodsport. So yeah, in the end, I won, but what if I pulled 3 Ocean Masters? I already have 95 out of 60. I would have been like, what the front door? Right? You're not guaranteed the specific character you're looking for. You get very unlucky and pull the same character over and over and over again. On top of that, if we go back here, this is on a separate pity. It's on a separate pity. So it has its own pity, which means everyone starts at 0. So you're giving people no time to summon. You're giving, or a limited time summon, horrible deals in the process of it, no communication on it. Yeah, granted, it got leaked by accident. That's how people knew it was coming. And then on top of it, you release a banner that, while yes, it can help, I think it's fine, that is on a separate pity system and doesn't help. Like it requires a lot of, like, you know, resources invested into it after just dropping a ton of other stuff when we've been going through massive dry weeks of no content. Well, not no content, but like weird events, things that aren't like. And do you know how I think what they're doing, I would actually be okay with it, all of it, if you just released a timeline or you let players know what's happening. And if that means you need to delay things a week so that you can set up a timeline, you can set up a form of communication, then do it. Then we'll have another dead week. I don't care. But just like literally vomiting content out, and of which much of it is not free to play friendly, it is not a good look for your game. I think you really need to go back to the way you were doing things, in the sense of, it feels like you're penny pinching now. And when you start treating the player like a $sign versus a human, which, if you remember one of my first videos a long time ago, was like, I feel like a person and not a dollar, people will stick around. And this is not to be doom and gloom. I just don't like how this is operating, in the sense of the lack of communication we're getting. We're just getting vomited content now, but a lot of that content is also not free to play friendly, right? Or it requires spending of some form. And where are the resources in the game to accommodate for that? Right? Remember, these games want you to spend. But you also have to give a carrot on a stick here, right? You've got to create incentives for people, like, make it easy to get the first copy of Blue Beetle and then harder to get the second one. Maybe make the first one, I mean, maybe, but I don't think it's unreasonable to say 40-40 or 40 of each and then 40 of the next one. Why is it not just the same as Lex Luthor? Pulling these epics is not the easiest thing in the world, right? I didn't have a copy of Bloodsport until now. Now I have a dupe of him, which is great. But then also the dupes you're requiring of the characters is for the exact team you need to build for them too. So you're only delaying progression even further, which is fine as long as you communicate and let people prep. But just enough prep that we might need to spend a little bit. Not like, oh, here you go. Right? And so this really, really is not a good look. And then on top of all of this, you buff Superman with no notification, which is great. And I think they were great buffs. And I'm glad you did it. But his banner's not running anymore. So that doesn't feel good for people that skipped him. They're like, well, he's not very good. So they skipped him. All of this is exacerbating a bigger issue of a lack of communication. What you're doing, I think you need to tone it back a little bit, but I think the way you're operating is fine if there is a form of consistent communication to the player base versus right now it's just like, and random stuff go, right? There's no notification of any of these things, and we know we're going to get new characters in the near future anyways. Right? So we are encountering an issue of lack of communication that I think is perpetuating further issues of frustration in the player base now. Because people are like, whoa, my God, there's like stuff coming out, but it's like, you should have spread this out over weeks. If you had told us a week ago, hey, guess what? Prep because Blue Beetle's coming to Fusions. You don't even need to tell us who we're going to require. I won't even, you know what? Fine. Make us work for it. Right. But just say, hey, Blue Beetle a week ago is coming to the Fusion system. Like, prepare, and you can get a really strong legendary character via the Fusions, and it'll only be available for 8 days. And you don't even need to tell us who we need. Like, let the player base figure that out, right? But let us know it's coming. And then we can, like, we can start saving a little bit. We're like, I wonder how this is going to work. We could theory craft a little bit. But then you're like, not only does that builds excitement, that entices people to come back and prepare and do things. And then the people that didn't prepare, they'll spend a little bit, right? This is like marketing 101 here. Or psychology 101. But like, just throwing random things out, not even notifying people, and then just being like, here you go, you have 8 days, good luck, figure it out. I've already seen comments in other videos on that weren't even about Blue Beetle, like, this event sucks. And it's just like there is a sentiment now of frustration building. You need to reverse course. And you need to, and I think a lot of this will be alleviated. You need to set up a news tab. Like, sending things via in-game mail is not okay. You need a news tab in today's day and age on gacha games. There are so many places to get news. Look at Raid, look at Watcher of Realms, look at all these other games. They have a freaking roadmap. You can keep things exactly the way I would. Two things need to change. First, you need to reduce the amount needed to get Blue Beetle. I'm sorry. It should be one dupe of each. Boom. That should be fixed right now, and then you refund the people that already bought it. Two, you need a news tab. It is not okay anymore. You need a news tab. This is getting a little ridiculous. We have no idea what's happening. It's just kind of, we're living the Moon Knight meme right now. And that will build frustration. If you can give us a little bit of time to prep, I'm not saying like, here's, 2 weeks in advance, but like, hey, a roadmap, like this event's running this long. You know how they have like, here's the date, and then here's how long this event's running. And then we can see in the little thing, oh, there's a Blue Beetle event, and then you announce things there. And then you don't need to tell us what's going to be who we need. You don't need to do that. But you need to let us know what's happening so we can prepare. And then if someone doesn't want Blue Beetle, they don't need to prepare. But right now what's happening is we're just kind of, flying by the seat of our, pants of our seat, whatever. But we have no idea what's happening. There's no information. We get one email or one piece of mail in our inbox, and it's like, here you go. Let the players who are preparing, because that will also incentivize free to play. Because what if that free to play has like 50 or 60 encrypted tokens, and they're like, oh, I'm like super close, right? Even though they saved up and they knew it was coming, and you're like, ooh, I could save up. And then they're like, well, this one deal, and also the deals need to be better. Don't release these garbage deals. And then they're like, ooh, I could buy for $5, I can get like 10. And if I spend this $10, I can get 20. And it's within reason, right? And then they spend $10, and then boom shakalaka. And then they got to their pity, they prepped, and then you've incentivized something. But right now in its current form, I look at those deals, I'm like, dear God, these are horrible. Like, they're so bad. I'm just gonna flat out tell, don't spend money on those. Those are horrible. Like, horrible. I guarantee you in the next 8 days we're gonna get better deals. This thing, and the crypto event, horrible deals. Like, you're literally pushing people away from spending. What happened to the DC Superfan pack? $30, I get any character I want? Yeah, do that once. But then it's like, ooh, there's really good deals in this game. And now we're literally talking about deals that are like half as good as like a weekly deal. Come on. And I spend a little bit. I'm not dropping any money on any of those deals for garbage equipment, garbage resources, and a few summons. Right now, I'm telling players this, we need to send a message that these things are not okay. And devs, if you listen to this video, I really appreciate you put Blue Beetle in, but it would have been nice to have some communication and not just an accidental leak. Tell us a week ago. Because then when the game's dry, you're like, hey, guess what? Legendary's coming. We're going to do a new legendary. You know what? Maybe don't even tell us who it is. Build hype. And just say, there's a new legendary fusion coming out. It's limited time, so prepare your resources. And everyone's like, whoa? You don't even need to tell us. Don't tell us. Don't even tell us who it is, but tell us there's one coming. I'm not trying to make a whiny video. I'm trying to like, we need more of this, we need more of that. No, we need communication. This is now an issue that is becoming very problematic, and it is perpetuating frustration within your community. You need to go beyond Discord. You need an in-game messaging system that is not just here's some mail and there you go. We need ways to communicate the updates. We need ways like, guys, just a news tab. That's it. News tab. Boom. With a roadmap, and like literally copy and paste your website and put it in the game. Maybe I'm thinking way too, like maybe this is way harder than it seems, but people are not going to your website. People are not checking it out there. Or like maybe, have the news tab and then also link things into the website too. People check out the website. Who knows? But in a current form right now, frustration is starting to build because we don't know what's going on. We have no time to prepare for anything. And on top of it, we're probably going to be getting new characters in the near future. And then this is also exacerbated by the issues that are going on with the arena and people that are building, like, what if someone is Wonder Woman's their main character? And now it's just like, well, they're SOL. So again, what is my takeaway from all of this, ladies and gentlemen? Devs, you need to find a way to communicate consistently with us so that we can prepare in ways, and you don't even need to tell us the exact details, but ways to plan so that people, like on the not so hype weeks, we have something to look forward to. Oh, hey, in a week from now, new characters are going to, which we know, I don't know if it's a week from now, I don't know when they're going to release it, right? There's also one last thing of issue, and I don't want to make this video super long, but there is no rhyme or reason to when things are being dropped. Like Blue Beetle just randomly dropped today in the afternoon on a Friday. I was literally sitting at work working, and then like getting my lessons and stuff ready to go, and then I look on my phone and I'm like, why is it downloading something? And then I look and I'm like, why is there a Blue Beetle event now, right now? Why is that now? I had another video set up a couple of days from now that I was like, oh, I figured it'll drop next week at some point. Nope. It dropped today randomly. You need to be consistent when things drop. At this time, I mean, that this is less of an issue, but like we have no, like, from a psychological background, people don't like uncertainty. They like predictability, not like predictability in the sense of you need to tell us everything, but like, oh, this is going to drop at this time. Okay, that's it for my talking about this. It is summed up an issue of communication, not an issue of resources. Also, the deals do need to be better. Like, you're not incentivizing anybody to spend anything. These are horrible deals. So, okay, that's it for now. As always, failing is just your first attempt at money.